I used to work as a journalist, and I interned with Times of India, and then I worked for some publications, and eventually I focused on business journalism for the magazine The Smart CEO. And I really had an interest. I realized I had an interest for business, and then I decided to take a break when I had my kids. So I wanted to, completely, you know, uh, spend my attention on them. Um, but like as I guess with most moms, you have that inkling about wanting to do something that you're interested in. So you still want to go back to it. So um, so that's when I kind of realized, okay, my kids are kind of still small, but at the same time, thanks to technology, I get to do something like a podcast. And that's how the idea came to me to get this started. This was about roughly last year. And uh, like I love meeting people and just getting to talk to them and find out, each one of us, I believe, have unique stories to tell, and extremely interesting stories to tell, if you actually choose to tell it from with all heart. And so that's why I decided to do the podcast. And initially I was thinking, maybe because I was used to work as a business journalist, maybe this podcast should be about the business world, like entrepreneurs, and talking to venture capitalists and startups and that whole thing, because I like that environment. But I realized I enjoy actually talking to people from different walks of field, not just entrepreneurs. And I decided to keep it that way. So yeah, and that's how the podcast came to be. The name, actually, a lot of people have asked me about the name. Why did you call it Maharani Talks? It just came to me one evening. I mean, so it's the first few letters of my first name and my last name, Mahati Rangarajan. And I realized when it came together, it was like the obvious conclusion was Maharani. So I thought, okay, why not, And then everyone told me the fact that the podcast has a certain personal attached to it might make it more interesting. And I had a few other options as well, but something about this name, I decided to go with that. And so that's yeah, the main reason why I started the podcast, and how it came to be. Yeah.
So, a lot of people kind of debate and discuss about how should the topic be decided, or when it comes to Maharani talks, like how did you decide that, okay, my format of my podcast is going to be interaction and interviewing interesting people, and people would like to know those stories. So on what basis you kind of decided the format and the entire when it comes to my background music or whatever, how did you kind of think about all those things together?
Yeah. So, the first important thing about starting your podcast is it has to be something that you're interested in. If you do whatever is currently the fad right now, I mean, you might lose interest. You might think, okay, storytelling, might be actually true crime podcasts are actually one of the biggest, rage in podcasts. And a lot of people love listening to true crime stories. But if you're not
Right.
actually passionate about it, you're going to fizzle out in a couple of months, because there's going to be a lot of research going into it, and all that stuff, and reading up about the cases. So it has to be something that you bring. What is it that you want to tell? What is the story that you want to convey? Like, podcasts have different formats. Like, my style is, I mean, the format I follow is the interview style.
Mm-hmm.
But you could also have,
Right.
like, there's something called solo cast, where you're just talking about your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. It could be on anything, like the current affairs in the country, or movies you recommend to people. What's Netflix binge you can do this weekend. And that's a wonderful thing about the world of podcasts. Your topic can be as niche as possible. If you are someone who loves home gardens, your podcast can be completely about that, and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually find an audience for that. And if you're a baker, and you want to build on your brand, your podcast could be all everything about baking. And you could in fact get other baker friends onto it, onto the show. And it'll be a very interesting thing to have. So that's why, since I love talking to people from as a journalist, that's what I did. And I loved how, each one of them came from with such an amazing perspective of life. And how you never get to see how it is, the kind of what they've been through and everything. And the
Right.
fact that the great thing about being a journalist is the fact that they're willing to open up to a complete stranger, because they wouldn't do that with anyone else. Yeah.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
and yeah, so that's why so yeah, and I've been interviewing for a while now, and
Mhm.
I know what my strengths are. So I decided to go with the interview style podcast. Yeah.
Correct, correct, correct. So, can you give me like a couple of examples of the people with whom you have had these interactions? Like, can you just tell me like this one particular story or something that really got your attention and you were glad that, you called that particular person for the podcast? Like some interesting
um
incident.
um I don't know if
Like one of
there
your
a lot
most
of been.
interesting podcast, like, what was the topic about? So basically I want to know, I also want the audience to know that, what kind of conversations have you been having and what kind of people have you been inviting to your podcast?
Okay. My conversations usually revolve around, um, they that the people, the guests that have been on my show, they have found, they figured out what they want to do with their life, their purpose, and in doing so, also they give something back, to in helping others, or um, basically it's about what else can your purpose helps you, but how can it help others as well. And
Hmm.
so in that sense, I've really enjoyed the guests who were who come on my show, and there are many interesting ones. um, like Anusha Yadav, she's a founder of Indian Memory Project, and it was so wonderful to talk to her. I don't know if all of you have heard about the Indian Memory Project, where she archives these old photographs of people,
Hmm.
just basic people. We don't never hear history from. We know history only from history books, but
Right.
she tells history through the normal people who lived, back then, who we don't hear about. And she talks about how her work is to connect people uh, to things that they can have better understanding. She likes to be the bridge between, getting people to understand the work she does better, um, like the history, or she does even photography. And then there was Shraddha Sharma, the founder of Your Story. And
Right.
I really loved my conversation with her as well, and how much she had to overcome, coming from Bihar and being a woman entrepreneur. And in fact, when she started Your Story, about a year or two later, her mother passed away, and she was talking about how she dealt with that. And it was a lovely conversation. Um, she was all heart. It was a very genuine and conversation, where she really talked about having kindness back in the industry. And so each one, and I loved my conversation with Ayaz Basrai. He's one of the
Mhm.
founders of the well-known interior and architecture firm, the Busrite Studio. And he talks about how it's very important for interior designers and architects to develop public spaces as well. And not just be because you build one beautiful house and you get featured in one amazing magazine. It's not that your work is done. It's how you can impact more number of people. So those were some really inspirational conversations. Yeah. That was, yeah.
Thank you, Madhu, for that. Okay, so now let's get down to podcasting 101. Okay, so
Yeah.
someone who is come and join this webinar with the intention of starting their own webinar. So before even getting into the first recording, what are the things that all of us should kind of be aware of in terms of choosing the topics or choosing the equipments, or before starting your first episode, what all things that you should kind of take care of?
Sure. So there's a certain amount of research that you should do before you start your
Mm-hmm.
podcast. The biggest thing you should ask yourself is why are you starting the podcast and what you hope to achieve.
Right.
Because yeah, I mean, podcasting, like anything else, will have its own. It takes this. There will be the growth will be a bit slow. It takes time to build up to an
Right.
audience and everything. So if the why behind why you started is not strong, then you're going to give up midway. um, so what exactly are you trying to tell? And make the podcasts about you. You're part of the brand, and you're unique. The story that you want to tell is unique. Your voice is unique. So include that in your podcast, whether it's in the podcast
Mm-hmm.
name, or
Mm-hmm.
even the show format that you decide to follow. Like if you're going to be if it's just you want to talk about you could even be documenting your own day-to-day stuff. If you're doing something interesting, you can document what you're doing as a
Mm-hmm.
podcast. If you're an entrepreneur or if you're an artist, you can document. That can become a podcast as well. So
Right.
so the couple of things that you should remember, like, the different show formats that I was telling you about, right? So you can have the conversational type, you can bring your friends over and it can actually have great dynamics, of talking. And then
Right.
of course it's just you talking. And you can have a
Mm-hmm.
storytelling. It can be fiction, or nonfiction. So these are a couple of the show formats that you can decide which one you can choose, which one you want to do. And next is the choosing the name. So something catchy and nothing too long, or because in the end it's a podcast name. So and it has to, what you have to remember is everyone's going to be listening to podcasts on their phone.
Right.
So so your name on the podcast name on the cover art has to be something that's not too crowded. So don't go with really long names, something short and snappy. And
Okay.
yeah. And other thing next thing I did a couple of research that you need to do is about the equipment that you need. So good thing about podcast is you can start doing podcast with almost to very minimal expense, not spend much on that. To you can stick to a budget, or you can go completely out and decide, okay, I'm going to buy the best of the equipment in the industry. So you actually have
Right.
options in different for different ranges. If it's if you just want to test the waters, you can just there's an app called Anchor, which is another podcasting
Mm-hmm.
platform. You can actually take your phone and talk into it and record it. Anchor records it and then it puts it out and it becomes a podcast. So you could do that. So
Okay.
uh, yeah, so you could start off that way. I mean, yes, the audio quality is not going to be that great. It's not going to be very professional. So if you're more serious about it, then I would highly recommend investing in some amount of equipment. So
Right.
the most important thing for a podcast is obviously the microphone. So so you have like different based on your needs, you have microphones for different budgetary needs. So like the one that I use, this is a I'm going to go a little technical now. So this is
Yeah,
the
yeah, please.
ATR 2100. It's
Mm-hmm.
a dynamic mic. And so there are basically two types of microphones. There's a dynamic microphone and a condenser microphone. And there's something called ribbon microphones, but no one really uses it now. It's something that used to be used 50 years back when you
Okay.
want a vintage feel. Anyways, so the dynamic microphones are like this I think I got this for about $60. So
Okay.
it's not too pricey. That's roughly about 4,500 bucks. And so the great thing about a dynamic mic is it picks up only, like, I have to be in front of the mic and it'll pick up the sound. So it's really great. It's a very sturdy mic, and it kind of doesn't pick up if you're in a house, mostly at home recording, and you have kids like me. So it kind of doesn't really pick up that sound. So it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, occasional some bird sounds can be heard in my recordings, so those things can't be completely eliminated. But
Right.
that's a good thing about a dynamic microphone. The other one is a condenser microphone. So condenser microphone gives much more superior audio quality. Like it's a very studio kind of quality audio that it produces. One very good example is the Blue Yeti. And I would highly recommend it if, say, you're recording in a place where it's going to be quiet, because otherwise it's going to pick up every sound in the room and around it. So you wouldn't want
Okay.
that. So you have to, or like I know another podcaster who's got a Blue Yeti, and she was telling me she records at night. So so where there's no
Okay.
sounds, yeah. So yes, so it really depends on your needs. So I went with the ATR. When I researched and how I decided was, I wanted to make as much minimal investment as possible without compromising on the quality. So when I thought about that, the ATR of everything that I read about microphones, the ATR 2100 really stood out. It gives a good audio quality. At the same time, it's not too expensive. And so you can connect it to your laptop like I just now did, or you can even connect it to
Okay.
an audio recorder. So it has both those options. Yeah.
Right.
And
Right. Right. Uh, yeah.
uh, so I was gonna the other thing you have to remember about podcasting is the editing software. And again, it's great because there's a really good editing software that comes free. If you have a MacBook, you have the GarageBand. If you're using a Microsoft Windows platform, you have the Audacity. Both are free. And both when you open it, yes, it's going to look overwhelming. It's got this something it's got all these waveforms and all that stuff and stuff you don't. But there are a lot of tutorials on the internet. And that's how I learned, by the way. I had no one to turn to about podcasts. And in fact, I had no one in my circle who were listening to podcasts. So maybe like I had one friend who would talk about podcasts, but I absolutely didn't know where to turn or who to turn to. And every research I did was from this wonderful website called google.com. So it gives you all the information that you need, sometimes a little too much information. So please be careful of whose information you're listening to. Like there are some extremely experienced podcasters out there, like Pat Flynn. If you go on his YouTube, you'll see a whole lot of tutorials, many of which I've seen. And there's another nice podcaster called Kevin Ross. He also does really nice tutorials. He's also on YouTube. So just check on their background, if whoever's advice you're going to follow is like, how have they been doing this for a while, and whether how seriously they take it. And so you have that option of GarageBand or Audacity, and you can actually have all the tutorials on YouTube. You can actually go, they show you how it is you need to edit, how you can have different audio tracks and all that stuff. It can seem a little overwhelming at first, but just take, for instance, just record your read out something from a book, record it, and then put it on GarageBand or Audacity, and just tinker around with that audio form and what you can do with it. How can you cut it? How can you enhance it? As you keep trying it, is when you get better at it, at editing. So yeah.
Right, right, right. So, before you actually start with the process of podcasting, I keep listening to a lot of these promos that, keep coming, and, that it's like a mixture of the kind of content you're going to talk about. It's a mixture of some music. So creating that promo is also, I'm guessing, an important step before we actually start recording full episodes. Or what is the chronology behind that?
So it's usually advisable to put out a trailer for your podcast,
Right.
and that is also in a way to ensure that you know you have something called hosting platforms. So there are podcast directories like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google, Stitcher, Castbox. They're all podcasting directories, but you need a hosting platform to supply your podcast to these directories. So these hosting platforms, since all these files are quite big, right? You can't host it yourself on your web page or so. It requires a hell of a lot of bandwidth as in when people want to stream it. So that's what these
Right.
hosting platforms do. So before I go into the trailers and everything, so I just wanted to talk about so when you set up so there are quite a few hosting platforms. The really good ones are Libsyn, that's Liberated Syndication, and Buzzsprout. Podbean is also good. So I use Libsyn, and Libsyn is really good. So each of these hosting platforms, you have like a monthly subscription that you pay a certain amount, about $15 or so, depending on your needs. So once you set it up, it's advisable to put out a trailer episode just to give a sneak peek about what your podcast is, because once you upload your trailer, it takes a while. For the first one, it takes a while for all the podcast directories to receive the RSS feed. So the RSS feed is a kind of like a signal the hosting platform sends to the directory saying, hey, look, there's a new podcast here, pick it up and list it on your directory. So that's what the hosting platform does. It sends out RSS feed. So once you set up on your hosting platform, I know it's a little technical, but it's not that complex. You once you get into
Right.
it, you break it into steps. It's actually really doable. So it gives you an RSS feed, like a hosting platform like Libsyn will give you an RSS feed. So now it's basically depending on how many platforms you want your podcast to be in. Some of it does automatically, like it sends it out to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. More than that, if you want to put it on other directories. So you sign up with each directory. You create an account with, say, Castbox, and then you insert your RSS feed there. So after that, that's just a one-time thing. You don't have to do it every time. So that's the first time you do it. Once you do it, after that, every time you release an episode or a podcast, all the directories will pick it up, and it will show up on it, in a matter of an hour or a few hours. Yeah. So,
Okay.
so
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
I would suggest doing trailer is a good way of doing that, because it tells you it's a way to check to ensure that the RSS feed is working and everything is on par. Because sometimes, like when I put out my trailer, it took about 2 days to for it to show up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so you wouldn't want that happening with your first episode, because when you tell people, hey, on Tuesday I'm releasing my first episode or something, when you start putting it out on social media, and then people are wondering, okay, where is it? We don't see it. Because so it's better to put out a trailer beforehand, and then ensure it's all working properly, so that you don't have that last
Right.
minute tension. Yeah.
Right,
So
right, right.
yeah.
Okay, okay. So before starting the webinar, we have selected a good name, which is not very long. We have kind of gotten the most suitable equipment for you to record. Then we have discussed about this entire content format that you're talking about, and
Yeah.
we have cut a promo, and now we are ready to kind of roll. So once we are into, say, maybe 2, 3, 4 episodes into the entire podcasting thing. So now I want to know that, now you know that, okay, this is something that interests you, this is something that you do want to take forward, and now you want to
Yeah.
kind of look into that direction. So now during that time where you're still, working on your episodes and, working on your editing skills and everything, what are the things that you kind of need to take care of during the entire thing?
Actually, Ankita, if I may, could I didn't talk about the cover art and the music for your podcast. If I can just
Oh,
lightly
sure,
touch
sure.
upon that.
Please. Yeah.
So your
Please,
cover art
please.
is very important, right? It's what everyone sees
Mm-hmm.
about your podcast. So you
Right.
can there are certain specifications you have to follow so that all the podcasting directories read your cover art. It usually has to be
Mm-hmm.
3000 into 3000 pixels. The thing is, there are apps where you can do it. Like Canva is
Okay.
a great app for you to put
Mm.
make your own cover art, and you can put
Right.
your own picture, and then you can change the colors and the background and all that. And there's also Adobe Spark. So these are great apps to do your cover art. If you're very particular about you want a particular customization, you want a particular font and all that, then there's always Fiverr. There are amazing designers on Fiverr who will be willing to do your podcast cover art for like
Okay.
a certain fee.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that. You can check it on Fiverr. And the next thing is the music. So it's extremely
Yeah.
important that the music you put on your podcast, if it's not yours, to ensure that it's royalty free music, because you don't want to
Right.
end up later getting into some legal problems. So there are
Right.
again like a great number of places where you can find royalty free music. SoundCloud is one good place. YouTube Audio Library is a good place. So some really good artists put up their music on these platforms. So you just need to, like, for instance, when you go to SoundCloud, they actually have filters. They can look for some of this music has also got Creative Commons license, which means anyone can use it. And you use a filter that says for commercial purpose, because your podcast is going to be published and everything, so it's a commercial thing. And all they would require is mention the attribute the music to them. So that's
Right.
an important thing, because a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
make that rookie mistake of taking a music and not realizing that you can't use it, even if it's just like 5 seconds. You cannot use
Yeah.
someone's music that is protected. So you could
Correct.
land in trouble if they find out. Yeah. So
Correct.
yes.
Correct. Yeah.
So I think cover art, music. So basically, yeah, the hosting platforms. So these are the
Mm-hmm.
main things to remember to get your podcast out there.
Right.
And
Right.
so you were asking me about after a few episodes. Could you just repeat your
Yeah,
question?
so after you have done all your homework and now you are into the entire podcasting thing, well, you have decided some consistency for yourself and you are, 3, 4 episodes deep, and you do feel that, this is something that you want to pursue for a long time. Then, what are the steps that you should take to kind of get into this in a little more serious mode, because everyone is experimenting in the beginning, but when you
Yeah.
get to see that, when people are responding and there are positive comments and there are positive feedbacks, and you also feel like, okay, so how should I better it for the people and for myself also, right? So
Okay.
have you like done anything like during the process after you started your first episode?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, each episode is like a learning experience,
Right.
sometimes I listen to my podcast and I think, okay, I could have done this better. I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
why did I give that intro, or why did I ask that question? I could have asked a better question. So so the number one thing about, if you're serious, that tells me that you're serious about your podcast, is how consistent you are. So
Right.
consistency is the really important thing. If you decide you're going to bring out a podcast once a week or fortnightly or even once a month,
Hmm.
then ensure you do
Hmm.
it again and again and again. You have to be consistent. Also, like Apple and all that, they constantly checking if it's a new podcast, they're constantly checking how often, according to the algorithms, are you being consistent. If you're consistent, then they will bump up your show a little more, like, it gets
Okay.
more, it gets to be heard by more people, seen by more
Right.
people. And so it's extremely important to be consistent. And you can always experiment, like, as a for my style, interview style, where I still getting the guests on board and all that. You can
Right.
eventually get 2 guests or 3 guests. I haven't yet
Hmm.
started doing that. I still interviewing a single guest at the moment. But there are great ways of experimenting with your show, and every episode you can always see what you can do better, how can the audio quality be improved, how can your editing be improved. It's only when you start making your podcast, you will
Right.
realize these small things make a difference. So, and then you go back to go back next the next episode and realize, hey, okay, I could have edited this a little better, or stuff like that. And
Right.
so main thing is to engage. Once you put your podcast out there, promote it on social media, because no one's going to know otherwise what you're doing. um,
Right.
yes, the podcasting platforms are there, but you also have to drive audience to it. So you can put it on, whether depend you need to know who your target. First, you need to know your target audience, like what is your podcast about. And if say you're going to be talking about mental health or stuff like that, then you need to know who your target audience is. So once you
Right.
figure that out, you can figure out where you can promote it. Like if say your podcast is something that is pertains to more like parents, say for parents, parenting and all that stuff, then Facebook is a great way to promote it, and so is
Right.
Instagram. But if your podcast is, say, business oriented, it's about entrepreneurs and all that, also about the startup economy, then LinkedIn is a great place to promote your podcast. So you need to figure out who your target audience is. That's important. And promote it there. So you can choose a number of channels. It could be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. So you can even do Twitter. So Twitter is
Right.
also another great
Right.
way to
Right.
and also get in touch with other podcasters. You will find them online on social media. Get in touch with them. And the wonderful thing about is the Indian podcasting community is extremely they're very they're ready to help you and answer your questions. And I met some really incredible podcasters, like I think most of you would be aware of Nikesh Murli of Indian Noah.
Yeah.
He's been very sweet and very supportive from the beginning. And there's Shankar from the Writer and Geek show. He's also been very sweet. And so there are many podcasters out there, and it's like we form a community, and we're willing to help each other. And yeah,
Yeah.
so you can always reach out to us if you have any doubts here.
Absolutely. So, just pertaining to the kind of format you have, I wanted to ask you that, how do you kind of take ahead your show? Like, do you record in between, like before the show, and then you kind of edit it, and then you kind of map it against the content you needed to make that particular episode? And if it's okay, then it's fine. Otherwise, you go back to your guests. Like, how does that happen? Because with solo, I'm guessing you can record and re-record and all that. But when you have
Yeah.
some guest coming on the show,
Yeah.
then you also have to decide the format and everything. So how are you doing that?
Yes. So you need to remember your guests are busy people. You can't keep going back to them and
Correct.
saying,
Yeah.
can you again join this Zoom meeting? I have few more questions to ask you. So you cannot
Right.
do that. So ton of research. You need to do your research on your guest and about the industry they're working in. Um,
Okay.
so, um, for instance, talking to like uh, trying to think who, like I spoke to Padma Shri Sharat Kamal Achanta, who is a table tennis player.
Mhm.
And I had no clue about the world of table tennis, you know. So I had to do a whole amount of research from scratch, because I even admitted to him in the interview that, you know, I'm really embarrassed to say that I didn't know much about you before the interview, so I had to do a whole amount of research.
Right.
Actually watched a
Mm.
few of his games to understand what's his style
Mm.
of playing like. So a lot of research
Mm.
goes into before doing the interview. Otherwise, you
Right.
know, the guests can make out if you don't research, because you're going to be asking very
Mm.
generalized questions.
Right. Right.
And yeah, and it's only when you do research, when you really dig deep, you're going to find some
Mm.
anecdote about them,
Mm.
some interesting thing about them. And the minute you lead with that, right, when you start your interview, your guest immediately realizes, oh, okay, you know, they've read up about me, and they know that about me, and they
Correct.
immediately, you know, become more interested in wanting to continue the conversation and feel, you know, it opens up. They also let the little bit the barrier down, or, you know, they little get a little more comfortable to talk to you, because obviously you're a complete stranger to them. So they need to
Yeah.
open up. So you need to have a certain amount of that connect, something to connect you with them, you know. So you can
Correct.
start with a nice anecdote, or
Right.
like I interviewed a chef called Matangi Kumar.
Mm-hmm.
She's a Chennai-based chef, and so I was telling about how when she first opened her restaurant, and I was there on the first day, but I didn't get a table because it was so crowded, and so I had to return. And
Mm-hmm.
so she was like asking, "Oh, but did you come back?" I said, "Yes, I did, and I came back many times over." So it was nice to start off the conversation that way, on some personal level or with some anecdote, you know, so that they
Right.
immediately
Right.
relate to you. So yeah. So yes, please do research on your guests and on the
Mm-hmm.
industry they're working,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to get
Mm-hmm.
an idea about their work.
Right.
And so yeah, so you cannot go back and ask them, you know,
Okay.
yeah,
So you get all the material at once whenever. So you have a call
yeah.
fixed with them where you have like an interaction and you shoot or you record that particular conversation.
Yes. So it happens on Zoom, like here.
Hmm.
So the call it gets recorded, and usually I have my set of questions that I you know, there's another thing that you need to remember about an interview style of podcast is have a certain flow of how you want the interview to go, you
Right.
know, so that you know which question to start with, which questions to you know, to ask in the middle, and in the end how to end it nicely.
Hmm.
But don't stick to it, you know,
Hmm.
don't be so rigid, because in the end you need to let the guests also you know, feel free to talk about other things. So
Right.
if they spoke about something that was interesting, so you can ask them more about that instead of jumping to the next question on your list, you know, and then they'll feel like, okay, maybe what they were talking about wasn't of great interest, or they weren't really listening. So so have that flow in mind, but at the same time have a little more it has to be an engaging conversation, it can't be very rigid.
Correct.
So yes, do that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I just thought, it might be a little difficult for people who have this kind of a format where, they're going to the speakers. It's not that,
Yeah.
you can just go back to them again and again. That might not be an
Yeah, you
option.
know, it's happened. Like like after I finished the interview, a few days later while I'm editing, I realized, oh my God, why didn't I ask them this question? You know, this question would have been an interesting question. Why didn't this thought strike me earlier? I've made
Ah.
those mistakes as well. You will make mistakes, and that's okay. You know, just
Hmm.
don't go into a interview without doing any research. That's the biggest mistake you
Correct.
can do, and you
Correct.
cannot do that
Correct.
mistake. Then, you know,
Hmm.
nobody's going to want to come onto your podcast after that.
That's
So
true. That's true.
please, yeah, please do a ton of research. Yeah.
So, one thing, one question that's already come to me personally, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask. There are people who are thinking about very niche podcasts, like, only for pertaining one particular language or one particular group of people, like that. So,
Yeah.
this is like a rising trend that, as niche as you get, you will have like a smaller target audience, but they'll be really engaged target audience versus having like a
Yeah.
very macro level topic where everything everyone can learn, but then they have multiple options to kind of choose from. So is there any merit in experimenting with those kind of audiences and those kind of topics, or is it a good idea to go with a more generic topic to begin with and then go into niche? Like, how can you distinguish between?
It's a very good idea to go with a niche topic,
Okay.
because podcasts on niche topics do extremely well. Um, you might find it slow to build your audience. That's true with anything, but that's the wonderful thing about podcasts. You can make it as niche as possible to as general as possible, but in the end it has to be something that interests you. If it doesn't
Mm,
interest you, you're not going to keep doing it week after week after week.
right.
So a niche thing is really good. And then
Mm,
once you decide your niche, you need to also figure out who your target audience is, and then ensure you target your podcast according to that. One you can one it's like once you put it up on social media, then you can engage with your audience. You can
right.
ask them questions. What would you like to see on on the next podcast? What do you want me to talk about? And so you can definitely keep it coming back and forth. When that dynamic is there, they'll be more interested in wanting to come
Right.
back and listen to your other episodes, and then subscribe, and eventually hit subscribe. And yeah, so it's definitely a good idea.
Right.
So you needn't think it has to be something extremely general. You can have extremely niche topic as well. So
And in like different regional languages as well, that also might work.
yeah, it's really booming. There are a great number of Hindi podcasts and Tamil podcasts, and a lot of regional languages that are coming up. So,
Right.
yeah, you don't have to think, it doesn't have to be only in English. In fact, I think this year there's been a great spurt in regional language podcasts.
Right.
So, yeah, you will find your audience. You'll definitely find your audience, because more and more people are coming onto, there's a big audio boom. Earlier it was radio. Radio was
Yeah.
considered the first podcast ever. Now, thanks to technology, we can carry it on. It's on demand. You don't have to
Right.
tune into somewhere. You can listen to when you're driving your car, or you can listen when you're washing dishes or cleaning your house, like we were all been doing now. And
Absolutely.
so anytime, or when you're exercising, so you can decide when you want to listen. And so yeah,
Right.
it can be on any language. So it's yeah.
Okay. So I think that question has got answered, whoever was asking. So, okay, so now let's go to the professional or commercial part of the entire podcasting thing. Like, maybe after 50 episodes, which is very difficult to kind of build in, what I believe.
Yeah.
But after you are kind of done with, a certain number of episodes, and you know that you have some kind of a following and people are engaging with your content, and you kind of, is there like a right time right now to think about podcasting as a full-time career, or at least to like beginning of a career? And then when we are looking at it as a full-time career, what are the steps that you should take? Like, I'm thinking that the kind of podcast that we listen to on, say, Spotify or Castbox, like how do they appear there? Like, what is the process? Do they select from the applications that they receive, or how does that work? Because that is basically giving you all the publicity that you need, because if your podcast is on
Right.
Spotify, it's just easier for people to kind of go and connect, right? So,
Yeah.
if people are thinking about professionally to become like a podcaster, what are the steps that they should take?
Sure, you can definitely think about podcasting as a career, but you have to keep in mind that it will take time to build it, to build up to
Right.
that. So there's a lot of groundwork that you need to lay before that, right? So it might not happen even on your 40th episode, or you'll probably get noticed on your 80th episode. So it
Okay.
takes time. So
Hmm.
but you could also do things to add momentum to that. You could have like collaborations on social media. You can do like Insta live with with your guests or with other podcasters. So so that more people get to know about your podcast. And so there's a certain amount of traction that you need to build, and then you can always keep checking on your analytics of your podcast. You can definitely take all the steps if you're serious about podcasting as a career, in building your audience, and then to keep engaging with them and promote on social media and connect with other podcasters. You can do Insta lives, and you can have other podcasters on your show. So all that ensures you get more and more reach. And of course, like something like Castbox, you were asking, they actually have,
Yeah.
you can apply for they have something like the banner promotion. You can actually apply for that,
Okay.
because a lot of people see those banners on Castbox app and they like to click on it. And now even Spotify runs ads. You can run ads on Spotify. And I've actually come across in it some few interesting podcasts because I've listened to the ad on see again, if your ad is something nice, funny, entertaining, and catchy, people will it'll pique their interest and they will want to come check out your podcast.
Right.
So these are things definitely you can do. Ads are definitely you can something consider as you pick up. But once you do that, when they come to your podcast page, they have to ensure that you've had some amount of body of work.
Right.
So you can't completely have just 3-4 episodes to show, and they'll be like the listener would want to listen to more variety of your episodes,
Right, right.
see
So it
what
should
exactly
have
your
some
content's about.
quantity of episodes to kind of get into this full time and run ads to kind
Yeah.
of attract more audience.
Yes, and that you've been doing this for a while and that you're taking it
Right.
seriously and you've been consistent with it. So
Correct.
they would want to see all that. Yeah.
Correct, correct, correct. So there's one question which has come from the audience. What is your take on
Yeah.
video podcasts? Currently, a lot of YouTubers are getting into video podcasting and are getting better reach. They also have it on Spotify and other platforms, but they get better reach through YouTube. Does it mess with the concept of podcasting?
So I use video to promote it on social media, to just put it on social media.
Okay.
So yes, video podcasting has kind of like started. And I was but the just video snippets. I don't put the entire podcast interview. The entire
Right.
interview is only available as a podcast. But why not? I mean, everyone, to each their own, what works for them. If they think it's in the end, the content is king,
Hmm.
right? So it depends on how good your content is. So if you think as a YouTube, you want to promote it there, then it's fine. Plus, they say sometimes it's good to have, even if it's not a video, just to put your audio up on YouTube, so that there is no there's no problem with the content copyright issue, someone else appropriating your content,
Right.
sorry. But the main thing about podcast is that it doesn't need you to sit and look at a screen. There's also people
Hmm.
having this fatigue of constantly looking at screens. They just want
Hmm.
to play it, and then it's like listening to music, right? Sometimes you might want to see the music video, but sometimes you just want to listen. And
Correct.
yeah, so the same way with podcasts. And it's about, you just play it and then you want to go do something else, whether you want to exercise or do some cooking or whatever it is. So
Correct.
so that's the amazing thing about podcasts. You don't have to be glued to your screen.
Correct.
So yeah.
So, the rising trend is towards video podcasting, or people are still preferring podcast just to listen to, so that, they can do whatever they want to do and then side by side listen to it.
Yeah, video podcasting is kind of coming into the picture, but I think as of now, it's still mostly just audio, just the podcast,
Just
that
audio. Okay.
mostly prefer. People just want to listen to, good content, and rather than see it, because again, there's so much
Right.
out
Right.
there already that's taking up your visual time, So
Correct.
this is just, yeah, it's less.
Right. Right. Right.
Doesn't Yeah.
Uh, okay, so I think I don't see any questions, and unfortunately, we are also running out of time. So, first of all, I want
Okay.
to thank you,
Okay.
Mati. Thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to all of us about the basics of podcasting. I think all of us who are here are kind of interested in knowing more about podcasting. I'm sure they have got to know more about it through this particular webinar. Audience, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for attending to this webinar and asking insightful questions. And we really hope that you got to know a little more about podcasting. And if you want to start your own podcast, maybe today is the day where you do it, because everyone is celebrating International Podcast Day. So, Madhi, any last words before we close in for today?
Yes. So thank you first of all for having me here, and thank you so much to the audience. I hope there were some really actionable takeaways from this conversation.
Right.
And if not, you can always reach out to me. I'm happy to help. So I'm available on social media as Maharani Talks. So yeah, you can always reach out to me with any particular queries, because I know once you get to it, once you start doing it, is when you know what your doubts actually are, and
Absolutely.
what questions you have. And right now it's easy to just touch upon stuff peripherally, but when you start doing it is when you'll have 101 doubts. So yes.
Correct.
So yeah, you're most welcome to get in touch.
Correct. So, guys, you can get in touch with her through her Instagram, which goes by the name Maharani Talks, and also she is present on
Yes.
LinkedIn. So, you have both the mediums to kind of get in touch with her. So, Madhi, I want to thank you again. Thank you so much in spending this time with us and telling us more about podcasting. And audience, thank you so much for listening again. Have a good evening. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Ankita.
Thank you.